Life is like a roller coaster. You got your ups and downs. So that's why we got to hang on really tight and just go with it. But wherever it stops, it's going to be okay. I grew up around lowriders. My brothers were always been into lowriders. So I was kind of brought up in the lowrider world. I didn't know which other way of having a car except a lowrider. I knew someday I would have a car like them. My car is a 1937 Chevrolet Cabriolet. There was only 1,724 produced from the GM factory. The color is like an orangish red. The original color for that year, it's called Omaha Orange. That color came out on a commercial vehicle, but not on an automobile. We put this color on this car to see how it would go, and it went pretty good. It's got a 216 engine, the original engine. Basically, the car's all original. It's sitting on 15-inch original rims, and the tires are US Royals. What I like about the car, it's got the long grill up and down. It looks like a Packard grill, but it's got that hood emblem, you know, it's just got that Packard style in the front. The car just looks like it just flows to the back. The interior's a stock, original interior. Every 4 inches, there's pleats. It's all beige, one color from the front seat to the rumble seat. Back in the days, they used to call it the mother-in-law seat in the back. I did put a stereo in there, Pioneer stereo, with 2 6x9s just to give me that music. The car's lifted. It's got hydraulics on the car. We cut into the car a little bit, modified the frame so the car can come all the way down to the ground. And that's it, our Tovar signature of our cars laying on the ground. To me, the cars look as best on the ground. It changes the whole looks of the car. I'm showing my plaque on the back to Tovars. That's my family. It's my style. I kind of put my touch on it, but it's a pretty flashy car. I have a couple of show cars, you know, and they're kind of more or less garage kept. I wanted something that I can drive. I wanted something that I can go to car shows with. I wanted something that I can go with my wife and my kids in the car. I bought the car about 5 years ago. It had a different look to it. It had big tires, a different wheel kit in the back. So what we did, we disassembled the car a little bit and we rubbed out the whole car again. We had it pinstriped. I put my wheels on there. I had them pinstriped. I put US Royal tires on there. Re-chromed a couple bumpers of the 2 bumpers that it has on there. Pulled the grill off, re-chromed the grill again. Just gave it that look again, you know, and it took me maybe, I want to say about a year it took me to get the car looking to the way it looks right now. And I think we did a really good job of doing that. My first lowrider was a bicycle. I would put the mirrors and the headlight in the front, you know, back then when, you know, you go to like Kmart or there was another store called Zodi's back at the time. I would always go to the bike section, buy my mirrors or my headlights and fix up my bikes. I think for me, from bicycles, it went to cars. From cars, it took off. My first car was a 1954 Chevrolet. And then from there, it went to a 64 Chevy Impala. That was a convertible. And I think that's where I fell in love with the convertibles. I have this 1937 Chevy, and I also have another 1937 Chevy Cabriolet. And then I have a 39. I'm building a 38 Chevy Cabriolet. So I'm into the Cabriolets. I love Cabriolets. I love that top down, and once that top's down, it looks good. I was born here in Long Beach, California. My dad met my mom in 1952. They got married. My father worked for McDonnell Douglas here in Long Beach Aircraft Company. He bought a home southeast of Los Angeles, a little neighborhood called Hawaiian Gardens, and that's where we all grew up. My mom was a homemaker, you know, she stayed home, you know, and she took care of the kids. My mom always had her doors open to my friends, for my brother's friends. Everybody was welcome. My mom was a lovable person, you know. It was fun growing up there in the city. You know, everybody knew each other, and I had a lot of friends, and we fixed up bicycles, you know, and rode around the neighborhood. We had a lot of good times. My father was into lowriding back in the 40s and 50s. It was all custom cars back then. His style was Appleton spotlights, the big fender skirts, the big long body lines. He was into the Fleetline style. In 1969, he passed away. He passed away at 39 years old. He left 5 of us for my mom to raise. When my father passed away, I wasn't even a year old. So I never knew my father, just through pictures. It was hard for my mom, but she kept us in line, you know. And my brother Eddie had to, play the role of a father, and he did a good job. And he took over as a father figure for all of us, my sister and my brothers. He had to play that role for all of us now. But my mom, she raised us and she kept us busy. Really, we didn't know that our father didn't leave us really nothing, And as we were getting older, we got into the garage. And when we got into the garage, there was all these tools. It was like we found gold. We started using those tools to build bicycles, go-karts, mini bikes. So it took off for us. My brothers, they started fixing up cars and hitting the boulevards, and I was like a backseat driver at the time. I was lucky to experience, all that at a young age, Growing up with my brothers with the lowrider scene, I copied their style. That's the only style that I know. That's the style that I feel comfortable with. And that's the style that's gonna stick with me for the rest of my life. Later on, we started getting really into it. We were starting to go a little bit further with paint jobs and chrome and stuff like that. And it took off for us. And before you know it, we're here building these show cars, We always stuck together. Growing up after my father, passed away, we knew that we had to take care of each other. We tried to help each other. And to this day, we still help each other. Our journey was a long journey from kids to today. I thank God that we're still doing it. It changed our world. It changed our lives. It just changed our family. I think that's where it all started for us with those tools, and that's what led us to what we know today. To me, that's why I'm sitting here telling my stories, because of those tools. On our journey, my mom's health was declining. In 2008, we lost our mom. It was the hardest thing in my life to do, was to lay her down to rest. And to this day, when I'm in that car, I think about my mom. When she passed on, the whole community was there. It felt good for me knowing that the support was out there for us. Thank God that we were able to stay in the same house, in the same neighborhood. And to this day, I live in that house. And we're still doing work out of that house. It's the nest, that we all grew up at. We're still here, and we're raising our kids, and my kids are seeing these cars being built in the driveway still to this day. So generation after generation is still going on there, and I think my mom and dad would be happy with that. My father would be very proud to see that last name on that plaque, Tovar's. He knows that that's his name, and those are his kids. And I think, to me, he'd be looking down at us and knowing that, hey, you know what? My kids did a good thing. My kids made it. We were all in it together, me and my 4 brothers. My sister Linda, she's into cars too. We all have that in our blood, I guess. We have that in us. For me and my brothers, we took it to another level. We just kept going with it, and we got really into it. And this is all we know is these cars. For some people, it's a hobby, but for us, it's not a hobby. This is our life. We're gonna take this to the end until they get the nail and hit it in our box, and that's it, I mean, if we could put wheels on our coffin, we would do it. We don't do it for a business. This is our lifestyle. We don't really sell any of our cars. The only reason why we're starting to sell them off a little bit is because we have no room no more. We're running out of room. I really don't want to put a number out there how many cars we got. I guess it's just to show that the sickness that we have for these cars. The lowrider people out there, they grew up in communities like where I grew up at. We couldn't afford to buy brand new cars, so we fixed up what we had to cruise around in, and it doesn't matter what size of community you grow up in. You have to stay with it. You have to stay together. If you have family, give your family support. Like I say, life's like a roller coaster. You got your ups and downs, but sometimes you gotta hang on and go with it. But wherever it stops, it's gonna be okay. God will give you that strength. You gotta use that strength and go with it. Your loved one, whoever passes on, they don't want you to stay down. They want you to get up and keep going. If something was to happen to me, I want them to keep going and keep doing what they do and keep that last name going. Me and my brothers, we built a legacy, and it's got a signature on there. And that signature is, get as low as you can get it to the ground. My name is Michael Tovar. I'm a custom car builder, and I'm a lowrider role model.